I know that some of you cannot join us on this Egypt pilgrimage this time, but what if I told you that the codes of Chem can still come to you? This trip really asked for inclusion of those who cannot join us on the grid. So you don't need to travel, you can receive the energy wherever you are. The Sphinx Codes live transmission this upcoming Saturday, December 13th, live from Egypt, is a moment to align with the ancient wisdom grid, to activate the memory in your body, in your heart, and also in your mind, your oracular center, becoming a code carrier of that ancient Atlantean wisdom and light technology. In this live transmission, we unlock the grid codes together, becoming a bridge of light, the wisdom of the Sphinx, the temples, the pyramids, and ancient origins that are reaching you wherever you are in the world. So even if Egypt isn't physically accessible to you this time, the codes still pulsate within. And you will leave this session feeling recalibrated, aligned, and connected to your soul star. So join us live from Egypt this upcoming December 13th, and I will see you on the grid. Welcome, beautiful travelers of light, to another episode. And we are in the cauldron of creative life force energy, Kundalini, and feminine embodiment from Miami to Peru, and probably also other countries that we'll speak about today with my amazing and interesting guest, Barbora. She's an embodiment coach, a writer, and also the co-host of Europe Meets Miami. And without further ado, Barbora, I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience a little bit. So, whatever you feel called to share that were these pivotal moments that make up the tapestry of your path that brought you here.
Thank you, Julia, for the introduction. It's such a pleasure to be here. Really appreciate the invitation. And yeah, so I'm currently working as an embodiment coach, helping people release suppressed emotions and memories out of their bodies so they can reconnect with their true self, with their heart's wisdom, with their intuition, their vision, and their creative life force energy. And it's been pretty much the path that I've walked myself for the last 12 years consciously, and probably many more years unconsciously, since I grew up in a family that has really took me all over the world. So I was born in Prague in Czech Republic. And when I was 5 years old, I got the notification, the news from my parents that were moving to New York City. So from a little village to a huge, huge metropolis. And every 4 years, we were on this journey. Since my father was a diplomat, so representing Czech Republic abroad in different countries, we were on this journey of exploring and navigating different cultures, from the US to Belgium to Austria. And then I continued the journey myself, since I feel it was in my bloodlines, the adventure explorer spirit. So lived in other countries like Italy, France, Australia, and currently back in the US. So yeah, it was very much a remembering, I would say, remembering of something that is much more ancient, and listening to my intuition. Where am I supposed to go next? What codes? I know you talk a lot about like receiving the codes from the land and then embodying them. So that was pretty much my journey since I turned 18, 19. I started having the first callings. And the first calling was to south of France, to Montpellier, which was also the land of the Catars, which I knew much later. But at that time, I just felt, wow, this feels like my home.
Mm.
And so that was pretty much the first remembrance. The second remembrance was Italy. So I lived in North Italy, in Venice, Milan, and that holds also the Qatar energies, and very much very feminine, very connected to the spirituality of those times, to something beautiful, mystical. And then continuing the journey, I was led to Australia. That held more of like the Lemurian remembering, as well as the Cook Islands. That felt also very much like home. And currently living in Florida. So Florida here, now Miami, I'm very much feeling the Atlantis reawakening again. So yeah, it was very much a journey of the heart, trusting the intuition, and yeah, continuing the unfolding.
Wow. That's already so much where we could go into. Thank you so much for that brief wrap up. It's, I feel before we really like dive deeper, I want to like rewind a little bit and like go step by step. So first you said that you grew up across like so many countries and in a diplomatic family that is kind of like a nomadic way of upbringing also. And I would love to hear, or if you can go a little bit deeper into how that really influenced your inner world, like being rooted in many lands, being home in many lands. How did that influence your sensitivity, your intuition, and also that calling towards really embodiment and owning your body as a home?
I love that question, specifically that angle, how it influenced the inner world. And I feel as children, we're very malleable. So the brains are still developing. And especially, it's very easy to learn a language. So, for example, it
Mm.
took me only 6 months when I was in the US as a 5-year-old to learn fluently English and to communicate with others. So I feel there was this flexibility of the mind, flexibility of adaptation, curiosity of like, okay, this is something completely different, but why not? Like, let's try it. Let's connect with people. So I feel that really helped develop that sense of empathy and intuition. Is like, many times when I came to the country, I could not properly speak the language. So there was this unspoken communication and codex. So yes, it really helped me become more sensitive to people, to energies, and open. I would say I didn't have that classical upbringing in a sense, like when people become teenagers or even earlier, like this is how society works and this is what you have to do when you grow up, and kind of that conditioning. I didn't have it as much. I remember we were like traveling all the time with my parents, going on trips and learning new things. So instead of being like put down into a path, on the contrary, like my crown and intuition was
Expansion.
so open. It was so overwhelming. Like at a sense, it was like a bit overwhelming because there was so many information and energies. So what in my later adult life, like my biggest challenge, but also the thing that really I now help people with is the embodiment. So
Mm.
very open up here, but then, okay, how do I root myself into to the ground? Where do I belong? Where am I from? Right. So I didn't have a country of origin. Like, even though I was born in Prague, I didn't really relate as much to the Czech culture. Even though I had friends and things, but it was just a little bit foreign to me. So finding that sense of grounding and home within, I would say, and that was the last 10 years, was like, who am I? What's my purpose? Where do I belong? And I feel that was the eye opener, was you have to find that belonging within. And you
Mm.
actually don't belong to a country, you belong to the whole cosmos, to the sky, to to the earth, right? And feeling that on a visceral level.
I feel that's a beautiful perspective because, I mean, funny enough, I actually do know quite some people who had a similar, or women specifically, who had a similar were forced to a similar lifestyle than you had as a child. And I can imagine that there's also moments like specifically as a child or teenager where this is particularly hard, like leaving a sense of groundedness behind, leaving things behind, like, yeah, friends and environment that you really trusted, and like starting over and over and over again. And at the same time, as you say, I really love how that, opens other capabilities within, and also cultivating a very deep sense of like rootedness and trust within yourself. So I would love for you to go a little bit deeper, if you can share maybe with our audience, like what were some really game-changing moments or even tools for you that you unlocked to find that.
Right. Yeah. So really this journey led me to discover my innate desires, like heart's desires, like where do I want to live? What I kind of had the perspective of seeing different countries. It's like I don't have to be in the country where I grew up or where my parents or my friends are from. I can choose, like the whole world is my canvas basically. So since I started meditating and doing yoga in 2013, I really started listening because I was very much in that sense of, as you mentioned, a bit of dissociation. I couldn't really feel any identity, any ego, even though we associate ego usually as a negative thing. But having a healthy ego is actually very positive, right? Like you feel rooted and powerful. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel that. So turning to meditation and yoga and connecting with my emotions and journaling really helped me. Where do I feel alive? Where is that place that feels like home, like that I can connect to on a spiritual level and even with the people and maybe have the community there of people. And so that led to many different inquiries. I did a 10-day Vipassana meditation, silent meditation, where I really got the calling. It's like Italy was good for your spiritual awakening, but now you're called to go even further. And then I was called to do this world trip, go to India to do a yoga teacher training. So that kind of opened again. India is very much that connecting to your third eye, to your vision, like bringing the energy upward again. So that was really good because I really needed that sense of vision, like where am I going? And that led me also to that trip around Bali, Australia. But then starting in 2023, that's where Pluto moved first in Aquarius. I felt that need to descend. Okay,
Mm.
now I've seen enough. I loved kind of the digital nomad lifestyle and being in places where you can do yoga. Like I've traveled to Mexico, Costa Rica, Bali. So that was all great. But then I started feeling, okay, I've explored enough. Now I need to descend. And so that's where I felt that calling to Peru, specifically also to plant medicine, because I felt
Mhm.
it will hold some wisdom. It will clear things that are not aligned, emotions, memories, things that I do not want to longer carry with me, and it will ground me to a knowing of who I am, like what's the deeper purpose beyond the mind. But also that was one of the questions. I was like, where am I supposed to live? Like where am I supposed to go? So yeah, Peru was very much a critical part of the journey, and exploring with these plant medicines, breath work, Kundalini yoga, like exploring these modalities, know thyself, right? And then feeling the desires, feeling the intuitive nudges in the body, that really helps to, yeah, to follow your path.
Mm. Okay. Well, let's stay in Peru because it's such a, as you say, like the earth womb. There was a lot of like that creative Kundalini energy. So you were called to descend. What was the transformation, the shift that you experienced when you arrived and while you were in Peru?
It was that sense of home that I was craving, that I couldn't find. Sometimes when we do a lot of this spiritual and energetic work, we feel a little bit alienated in the places we live, right? We might find beautiful moments of connection with certain people or with nature, but overall, the pace of life or the energies we surround ourselves, they didn't feel vibrationally aligned. Instead, in Peru, I landed in Cusco. I went straight to the belly, belly of the Andes, the womb, and I felt this immediate sense of like connection with everything there is. So with the people, with the nature, there was just this sense of belonging, even though the culture is very different to what I grew up with. But I do feel I might have some ancestral roots there. And it was just that sense of peace and harmony, very much that the elevation in the Andes brings you closer to source as well,
Mm-hmm.
while
Yeah,
being held in the womb. So there's this beautiful unification of going upwards, but being held and supported like a mother's embrace.
that is beautiful. So it what comes to me is immediately like the picture of, the serpent codes and activating, as you say, like both the lower and the upper chakra. So can you share how maybe this activation or these codes are experienced in the body?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that because every place in that region is highly activating and it holds Kundalini energy of the earth, which actually was moved in 2012, according to Melchizedek's books about the earth, the Kundalini of the earth that was previously in Tibet in India. That's why a lot of spiritual seekers went there to connect with the Earth's Kundalini. So in 2012, it started moving towards the Andes, and now it's stationed in Lake Titicaca, but it is felt all over the Andes. So specifically like Cusco, Machu Picchu, also Pisac, and they activate different centers. So very much when I first came there, I felt, okay, a clearing is taking place, especially in the lower chakras. Also, it was like 2 weeks before I went on the plant medicine retreat, and ayahuasca is already calling you as well. So she starts already clearing with you. So, yeah, the first week was very uncomfortable. I also got an altitude sickness because Cusco is 3,300 meters above sea
Yeah.
level. So it's very hard on the physical body. But then when you understand what's going on, it was very much like as humans, we hold a lot of like in the lower chakras, especially like root, sacral. There's just that's the pain body is there. And even if, for example, we've done a lot of work already, there's still more to clear. So I felt very and that's the beauty of it, is you go deeper and deeper. So yeah, very much so. At that time, I was also not still not very stable with my home. So really clearing that, maybe if there was still some kind of fear or scarcity, or also that a lot of us on this path have also a fear of authentic expression, like fully embodying who we are, and fear of being seen and fear of being judged for our gifts, And so we kind of hold back. And that's very much where the womb space is like, we don't allow our creativity to flourish and to feel that desire, that aliveness, and go upward, right? So it was very much a clearing in the root and the sacral. And then as I traveled towards Pisac, that was a very complementary energy. So Pisac is also where they have like a very sacred village and pyramids on top of the mountain where they performed rituals for the solstice and for the equinox, the Incas. So that's more connected to the third eye, more so like the feminine third eye. So very connected womb third eye sensation. And again, here's the clearing about where are we still afraid to see, like fully see the whole multidimensional field? Where do we feel it has to be a certain way, or where are we afraid of our power, of our visions, right? To see fully. So I feel there was a lot of clearing going on in the upper centers, and then just getting these downloads and insights and the ancient wisdom coming through. And that's what I loved about Peru is the ancient wisdom is still very much alive within the people, within the land. So when you sit and you tune in and you really harmonize, you are connected to the earth. Your crown is open to the insights from above. It really connects you beautifully in the heart center. And that's what I felt was in Machu Picchu. That was my last part of the journey, was very much that unification of both energies, of the higher chakras, the upper chakras, the masculine, the feminine, the sky and the earth, all connecting in the heart. And I would say even higher heart, because it did have like that cosmic touch to it as well. It does feel otherworldly. So I feel this was my individual experience. Everybody can obviously experience this in different ways, has different activations. But yeah, this was at least kind of the process I went through.
Hey, friends, I want to share something truly incredible and life changing with you today. And that is the quantum frequency products of the brand called Levi Lights. It is cosmetics on the carrier essences of water and essential oils containing over 3,000 energetic imprints, vibration, the highest form of nature, of herbs, flowers, flower essences, some minerals, and the way how I have experienced them to work for myself and for my family, my friends, my clients is that they truly give the trigger to our cells to remember our blueprint. And on a physical level, that is a healthy body. The communication, the balance, the hormones of how our cells communicate with each other. And on a spirit level, this is also a trigger to really remember your divine essence. It's unlike anything that I have come across, which is rare because I work with energy medicine basically every day. And so, if this is something that you would find intriguing, then I'll invite you to check the link in the show notes where I share more information. I am also hosting bi-weekly calls where you can find out more information on how these different lines can support your health, your cellular regeneration, and also your consciousness journey in the most beneficial way. Thank you for sharing. And if you don't mind me asking, because I like to go into these details that usually people don't talk about so often, because I feel, when we go on these journeys and we're being called, and yes, we want to all like work with these energy centers, and it can seem or hear or from the outside be perceived as a very light journey. But as you already said, like there is altitude sickness, there is like a clearing that can be a physical purging in whatever way, right? So happened and happens to me as well all the time. And then you're hanging over the toilet. It's not so nice, like, but this is part or can be part of the spiritual experience as well. So especially for you as an embodiment coach and also, walking the talk, like what are you recommendations for people who go on this journey? How can we prepare for that? How can we prepare the body? Like what do we do if and when these kind of things happen?
Yeah, such a good point. Yeah, preparation and knowledge really is power in this case, because you don't want to have certain expectation, right, of a blissful journey, and then you get hit like with a completely different experience. So luckily, when I went to Peru, I was already enrolled in this retreat, this plant medicine retreat in the Amazonian jungle. And they did a great job of preparing us in general of the culture, but also how to prepare your vessel. Because obviously, if you go into these very high altitudes and it's very visceral, a very visceral, this feel,
Mhm.
especially if you're a sensitive, intuitive, you will feel these clearings and activation. And the Kundalini rising. It is not pleasant most of the time. It is pleasant once you integrate it and you can share it. But yeah. So having this, like, so you will be uncomfortable. But I feel that's part of the shadow work, right? People who have been on this journey for longer, okay, it's part of it. And my teacher had a really great analogy about it. Is when you meditate, you calm the waters of the lake, right? So you kind of create that stillness. But when you embody and descend and do these clearings and plant medicines, and like you are stirring the mud at the bottom of the lake. So that should be the expectation, is you are here to clear the mud. You're not here to have these, obviously it's part of it as well, beautiful activations and vision, but you're here to purify yourself. And purification is a very intense process. So it really starts being disciplined about your body. How do you eat? Obviously, during the year, do you have a clean diet? But also before the retreat, I had to cut out things that I usually consumed, like caffeine, no coffee, no sugar at all. So I couldn't taste any of their delicious sweets. And no meat that I don't eat anyway, but also no fish, I think, was there as well. So it was a very restrictive diet, but it was very helpful because then you are even more in tune. So instead of drinking coffee, I had coca tea that helped with the altitude sickness as well. But it's more subtle. It's like you connect better, you hear more. So I do feel having that discipline is good. And just being open and present to whatever you encounter, knowing there's a lesson behind it. There's something that it wants to show you. It might be uncomfortable, it might be unpleasant. For example, I always had this sensation, especially when I did solo travel, it was uncomfortable for me. Even though I enjoy solitude, I like connecting to people and just knowing there's someone around, feeling safe, sharing my travels. And I didn't have that. But I felt an immense solace and gratitude and connection just being on that land and being held. So if you can find the beauty in like whatever that land is giving you, the codes and the people, they're also there to assist, and they're guides and teachers on the way. So yeah, taking it a balanced way, I would say, not having too exaggerated. That's what happens, unfortunately, a lot of the times. It's like this glamorizing, right? A lot of people go also to ayahuasca because, oh, it sounds so cool and like visionary. But yeah, it's maybe 10% of the time.
So how was that for you? I mean, working with, ayahuasca in a sacred ceremonial setting in the Amazon jungle, I feel it's quite a important portal of healing and maybe also remembrance, again, like shedding activation. So what was that new vision that emerged for you on the other side?
Mm. So yeah, the trip to the Amazon was a beautiful continuation of the journey. First of all, my body felt relieved because I wasn't in that altitude anymore. Somehow it was very
Mm.
hard on my body to be that high. It's like a lot of oxygenating the body. So I was very happy to be it was more of a humid tropical climate. It felt very much more supportive going forward. And yeah, it was beautiful. Like for me, it was beautiful overall because I came exactly like I didn't get the answers exactly how I wanted to hear them. So you come with an intention, right? You have questions like, why is this happening? And where should I be going? And you want to uncover stuff. So you want to go below the lid, into the subconscious mind. And that's exactly what ayahuasca does, is it quiets the prefrontal cortex. So where we spend most of our time in the thinking rational mind, and it activates the limbic brain, the feminine brain, the brain of memory, emotion, ancestral memories as well. And that's the beauty of it. So not only you're getting these memories from your past collective past, but you're getting the emotions as well. So, for example, if your heart was broken, or if you felt unseen or unacknowledged or suppressed, you will feel those emotions in your body again. So that's very uncomfortable, but it's very liberating, because then your eye, your third eye, your physical eye, it acknowledges this, it holds space for it, and then your body purges. So I was doing a lot of purging, and I was happy because I knew, okay, I'm letting go of these stuff. I don't want to carry them in my
Hmm.
in my in my system, right, in the cells. So very much, very much clearing process. But I feel if people are called to it, if you know there's still some shadows, some things you don't understand, why is it happening? It's very beneficial to go on this deeper journey.
Wow, that sounds super profound. I, I'm still very hesitant with plant medicine, and also like honoring that, I just haven't had the call yet, and you don't, also honoring like you don't have to if it's not your call, because I also feel that there is, as you said, like that, oh, it's hip, or kind of like everybody does it, so let's do it. And I'm like, nope, nope.
Yeah, and that's beautiful that you're honoring it, because I feel the call has to come organically, not because someone recommended it to your social media. So it's really a calling that you feel from the heart, that I felt for years, and then there was this opportunity. So yeah, honoring it and knowing there are different modalities. I found, for
Hmm.
example, after I did ayahuasca, that's when I started doing regularly breath work and Kundalini yoga. And some of those modalities helped me access exactly those memories that I did with ayahuasca. So choosing, right, what works for you, what is best for your system.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So let's have a little break before we like continue the conversation. I have prepared some what I call rapid starfire questions. So it's pretty much just like to fire up the conversation a little bit. And it's something where I ask you a question and you just like answer whatever is present for you right now. Can be so in short, or it's like either or questions, and you decide what feels present in the moment.
Sounds
You're
fun.
ready?
Let's do it. Yes.
You're ready? Okay. How many countries have you visited?
40 plus,
Wow.
around 40. Yeah.
How many languages do you speak?
6.
Six. Amazing. Your spiritual home is?
Lemuria, wherever that might be, California, Australia.
Okay. Dolphin or serpent frequency?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I love both. But at the moment, what's resonating is dolphin frequency.
Dolphins. Okay. Next one is a little bit similar. Andean Mountains or Caribbean Sea?
Andean mountains.
Okay. Where in your body do you feel energy shifts first?
In the heart.
Okay, beautiful. And then last one, what's your next travel destination?
So that's actually something that ayahuasca told me, and that I've been since then. I knew for years it's supposed to be there, but it's just so far away. It's Hawaii. So getting,
Okay.
especially now, it's being very activated with all the earthquakes. So curious to visit the land there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That was fun. 40 plus. Wow. Okay. I still have to do some some pinning in my map.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of them
amazing.
were already, as I mentioned, as a child. So I had kind of the advantage to be carried.
Well, but it's amazing, I feel even if, yeah, we, as you say, like it's subconscious, but we are carrying the codes within, and at divine sequencing and timing, yeah, things crack open. So excited also for you to see what maybe come much later where you're like, oh, okay, this is full circle from like times in the past. So let's go to the dolphins. You live in Florida right now, connecting with the dolphin frequency. And it's very much, as you said already, like Atlantean, maybe a little bit of both, like Atlantean, Lemurian. So just like these oceanic currents and also some sort of playful intelligence with the dolphins, I would say. So tell us a little bit, how do you feel this land codes? What is that activating in your body? What's the connection that comes up?
Beautiful question. And so I live south of Miami in South Florida. I came here in 2023 when we were doing a trip around the US with my partner. We were kind of choosing where we want to live next. And we were going to all these cities from New York, Miami, Austin, Sedona, LA. And we found very much, I'm happy we agreed because usually he likes more the city, I like more the nature. It's not always a balance. But this time we agreed that we want to settle here, especially in this neighborhood, Coconut Grove. It has a lot of that ancient Florida nature. So banyan trees, a lot of palm trees, bushes, ferns. You really feel like in Costa Rica almost. They do a great job at preserving the nature, which is not always the case. And also the ecosystem here. So you can go outside on a walk and you can see crocodiles, dolphins, manatees, pelicans. This similar kind of ecosystem you'd see in Mexico, for example, because it's all on that Caribbean sea climate. So that was very much alluring for us, but as well as also we wanted to be in a place that's also dynamic, like it is it growing here? Are people coming here? Are there opportunities here? Because even though I love, for example, the Pacific, I l- I really thought always like LA would be the dream city, but there's more of this energy of creative decline. Whereas here it felt like it's blossoming. A lot of people are moving here. There's a lot of
Oh, I love
uh,
that.
yeah, it's a lot of polarization as well. And somehow I'm more of a type, I go kind of into these places rather than I love also like being in nature and secluding and living in isolation. But this for us was interesting because there's this very strong polarization between AI and like finance tech, very much booming here. But then there's also the spiritual world, wellness. You can see a lot of people here as well. So it holds a lot of contrasting energy. And that's where I feel like a lot of us, like intuitives and people who kind of bring forth the spiritual light, are called to go into these places because it can get out of balance. I've been involved in situation where I've seen, wow, this does not feel really, how can I say, like the kind of the new Earth vibes, right? You could see kind of
Mm-hmm.
the contrary. Like this is actually you're in the deep matrix here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do feel it's really important to kind of stabilize the field. But at the same time, you can find this incredible, like when you disconnect from the matrix, you can feel this incredible new codes that are coming from the sun. So there's been a lot of solar activity since last year. And the solar light reflects on the water, and the water is a carrier of consciousness. So I feel it's reactivating a lot of that ancient wisdom, that Atlantis codes. What I always keep seeing is this vision of these beautiful palaces adorned with crystals and like a lot of botanical plants and very lush, and people really connected to their cognizant powers, to their telepathic powers. And it comes really strong, especially now with Free Eye Atlas as well. Uh, I feel there's a strong connection like Atlas, Atlantis, plus third eye. this land, specifically South Florida, Bahamas, holds the energy of the third eye, of intuition, of vision, the dolphin energy. So it pretty much activates that when you tune in. And that's the beauty of it, is you see, okay, the world is going one way, and yet in the subtle energetic realms, there's just so much light, so much playfulness, as you said with the dolphins. The dolphins bring so much play and joy and really activate that inner child of presence. And like, I can witness this all, right? And there's still so much, I feel, potential. The more of us connect with these energies, we can really create a reality that is based in that. It's really about
Mhm.
choice point at this moment, right?
Totally, totally. And I want to like circle back to something that you said in the beginning about like it's not even the understanding like from a mental plane, but it's actually like the comprehension with your full consciousness and body, that ascension and awakening and consciousness expansion, like whatever we want to call it, does not happen through like literally ascension, but like descending into the body and embodiment. And so I want to come back to embodiment as an ascension tool. And it's definitely also like specifically over the past couple of months this year, something that I have been like brought back by spirit, by the universe over and over again. Like hey, it's here. Like it's the work
Mhm.
with the lower chakras. Yes, you can be here, but then like bring it down, bring it down. So what do you wish that more people understood about embodiment as a spiritual or even like planetary service as you guide leaders into deeper vitality, intuition, and also their body wisdom?
Yeah, I feel so much of the last 400, 500 years that we've been in this growth. There's actually this beautiful prophecy from Peru. It's the condor and the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the eagle is more of the masculine and the condor is the feminine force. And the last 400, 500 years, it was the masculine brain, right? The logic, the rationale, and like you need to see it before you believe it, right? It needs to be visible through your eyes. So that was very much the period we were in. But now, exactly as the Incas prophesied, is we have this potential to awaken that condor, that feminine spirit within us. And the feminine energy is very much descending. So going deeper, so out of the mind into the body and trusting there's wisdom in the body. A lot of the times when I work with people, I see they don't want to go there because there's just so
Mm.
much pain. It's frozen. It, it needs that courage, that medicine of the otorongo, that jaguar medicine that the Peruvians bring, to have an open heart and like this spiritual curiosity of, yes, I want to bring myself into union within. I don't just want to be operating in these mental planes where I feel in the next years, pretty much everyone will be forced to work with the body because it's becoming very busy here. There's a
If
lot
you
of,
don't surrender, yes.
exactly. There's a lot of almost like burnout, psychosis, and it's just it's not going to be pleasant. So when people surrender and like open to the heart womb for Manahara, right, intuition, there's just so much wisdom and so much beauty to be unlocked. And it's also about working with the chakras. So it's very much real. Like chakras are the energy currents of electromagnetic energy. And that's where all the wisdom is stored. And you can feel where are you balanced, where you have less. That's how in the last years, I've been aligning myself through the chakras because I've been feeling, okay, this does not feel in alignment. So working with the chakras, working with the unification of masculine and feminine energies. Because in a lot of women, there's this overdrive of masculine energy, like that doing, hustling. And so, really, awakening, that's where Peru, the magic of Peru comes in. It awakens your feminine energy, your creative life force, your aliveness, your womb. And then it's up to you to not go to the other side of the extreme and just be in your feminine, but to harmonize it like the condor and the eagle. Like for example, the Viracocha, that's the creator god, and Pachamama is the earthly goddess, right? So bringing everything into union, that's where I feel our highest potential is. It takes a lot of work to get there, and there will be always so much more work to do, but at least for me, this is the most satisfactory thing I can do with my life. So I hope more people will see it as well, how life can be amazing, free of pain, free of suffering. And we can really get to live this blissful existence if we want
Mhm.
to.
Would you be open to show or guide us into like a very, very short, simple practice?
Wonderful. What would you feel called to work with? Is there any energy center in your body that
Let's do the base and the sacral. Yeah, let's work with the lower ones.
beautiful? So I invite everybody to close their eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Deep into your womb and belly space. And exhale. Release any heaviness, any tension from your body. Inhale, you're bringing fresh, clean air from the Andes. You're bringing in these codes of remembrance and awakening. Visualize yourself there in these beautiful mountains, crystalline mountains that hold so much wisdom, so much ancient wisdom, and that want to help you come into balance, to release, to activate. And as you're sitting in this beautiful nature, you're feeling your connection to the earth, to Pachamama. Your umbilical cord is descending deeper and deeper into earth, into the crystalline core of the earth. As you're feeling this oneness with Pachamama, Mother Gaia, you can feel her unconditional love, infinite nourishment, support, an inexhaustible abundance circulating through this umbilical cord into your body that you feel is a deep knowing rather than just something from the mind. You can really feel that in your root chakra as your root is glowing with a ruby red shamanic color that's being now activated. And now you're being asked and invited to release any core fears from the roots, any fears of survival, lack of money, lack of belonging, not being seen, heard, understood, not being appreciated, all these fears and wounds that women had to deal with for centuries. Now release them into the earth, deep into the earth. The earth can alchemize them, transmute them for you. Deepen the breath as you release. Let them go. Now that we're in the the year of the shedding, the year of the serpent, this is your final call to release these core fears. And now bringing in that support, love of the Divine Mother, back into your root and visualizing a beautiful infinite number, the number 8, infinity, balancing out your root, bringing it in this beautiful ruby red color, feeling safe and supported. And now that you have this beautiful foundation for yourself, where you're anchored in your root, you're anchored also into your earth star chakra 6 feet below you. You really feel that those two chakras synchronizing. And now with an inhale, you're going to bring that energy upwards, activating your organic tree of life template, creation codes up through the root, into the rest of your body, into your crown, feeling that organic tree of life, activating, clearing any distortions, any false light, and anchoring into this beautiful Christ Sophia light of unity, consciousness. And now descend back into the womb, into the sacral chakra, and feel the fertility of this place, the power that you have to create, to bring forth from the spiritual into the material. And notice if you feel any blocks with regard to your creativity, maybe some birthing pains, maybe some doubts, some imposter syndrome, lack of knowing what to create, what feels aligned. Observe if there's anything in the sacral that wants to be released. Any emotions that have been frozen in your body, any pain, and release them with the breath. And now imagine this beautiful crystalline aqua blue rose in your womb space that is purifying your womb. So feel this beautiful aqua blue light in your womb, in your cervix, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries, shimmering aqua blue feminine light of creation, restoring your womb to its original architecture and purifying the waters of the womb. So clearing any corrosive elementals out of the womb space, bringing in golden light, golden shimmering light, as you create a fertile landscape for you to birth your most aligned desires, your most alive desires to life. So give yourself the space to feel your desires, feel that aliveness, that Shakti Kundalini energy rising from the root into your womb space and up towards the heart and third eye until the crown. Feel that creative energy rising. And now bring the energy back through your breath, descend the energy back. Through the third eye, the throat, the heart, the womb, and root. As you're unifying your masculine and feminine energies, your upper and lower half of the body, your Merkabas are activated. and you feel ready to step forward into the new year, into 2026, you've discharged and released any last remnants of heaviness coming back into your 0 point, into your inner union, into your most profound alignment with Source, with your purpose, with your gifts, with your aliveness. It is done, and so it is. Deepen the breath and come back. You.
Wow, thank you. I feel super alive. You know, the first one, the root, really activated something in my throat. That was very interesting. Like the red and the blue were dancing, and the sacral, I feel it in my hands. So there's a lot of like creative energy where I feel that I want to work something with my hands. Thank you. That was super powerful.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that you had this visceral activation because, yeah, that's what moves us, right? We're not moved by the mind like we should be doing this. No, as you say, I feel with the hands. So beautiful embodiment.
Yeah, totally. So, everybody, that was a little taster. And now, Barbora, let us know where can people find you and what are the best ways to work with you.
Wonderful. So if you're curious to learn more about embodiment and all the energies that we've explored today. So I'm most active on LinkedIn. You can find me under my name. Otherwise, I also have a Substack channel, Threads as well. And I run these monthly embodiment workshops. So if you want to go deeper, you can check out the next one is on December 10th. And then there will be another one in January, February, and so on.
Amazing. So, let's make sure that we put the links in the show notes so you can send me the one for the workshop as well. So, we're going to be putting it there so people find it. Is there any final words of wisdom that you want to share with the audience?
I feel now is such a good time to really let go of it's December, it's the 9 year 2025. Let go of any doubt where you might be feeling something within you, but it's not really aligned to your external reality. It's not showing up. And really trusting that what is within you wants to be brought forth, wants to be expressed, and trusting that it might not be immediate, it might take time for it to materialize. But that's one of my favorite saying is like, if you do not bring forth what is within you, it will destroy you. And so your mission in this life, if you're wondering what is your purpose, it is simple. It is connect and bring forth what is in within you in the most radical, authentic way, because we really are in this time of energetical change, and what was in the past no longer will be. We will be supported by these divine cosmic forces. So this is really the best time to just surrender, release, and yeah, connect to that spark, that creative energy, that Shakti within.
Thank you. That feels so aligned. And I see like a golden lining up straight into the galactic center as we head into the Golden Gate. So that feels very aligned.
I felt something similar. I feel like really, even though we were talking about the sun, I really feel the Kundalini
Yeah,
has activated in this container, like it's bringing us up. So beautiful.
totally. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I feel there are so many more things that I want to connect over with you. And it's just, I mean, you're technically a walking like earth library, earth guardian. There is so much that you hold, and please also for you like continue to radiate that frequency to everybody, because I feel it's also very much within us as like activating that light within others. So thanks. That was a
Oh,
beautiful,
thank you
beautiful
so much.
conversation.
I appreciate you so much, Julia. Thank you for holding this space for these conversations. It's been wonderful to also learn from you, from your guests. Everybody carries these very specific gifts and codes, and it's just wonderful to be able to share them freely. So thank you.
Yeah. That is honestly also what brings me the most joy. Like I wanted to create a space where these authentic conversations can happen. And I feel that's very much what's what's happening, not because of me, but just by that co-creative field and by the template that like the earth is really like behind that and saying like, hey, you are my spokespeople, like you gotta deliver the message.
Yes, yes, you've been doing such a wonderful job. So thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, wishing you
Thank
all the best for your creative unfolding. Keep me updated on what is coming through.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. I bet that there is so much wisdom for you to unpack. So, if you had one or the other spark of enlightenment or recognition or remembrance, please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear how this episode resonated with you. And as always, stay curious and continue to seek out the extraordinary. I'll see you next time.